What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Gotzi for Justin Gotzi TV. Thank you so much for checking out tonight's video. Tonight, guys, we're here talking about a deal that went down yesterday between two American League teams, the Oakland Athletics and the Toronto Blue Jays, as these two teams have swapped third basemen. And when you really look into this deal, the Oakland Athletics have gained a lot as the Toronto Blue Jays have lost a lot. The Toronto Blue Jays acquired Josh Donaldson, only Josh Donaldson from the Oakland Athletics, but the Oakland Athletics acquire a big amount of players such as Sean Nolan, Kendall Graveman, Brett Lawrie, and Franklin Barreto. Now, this is a huge deal. We would never seen these kind of deals before. A lot of people have been talking around, the hot stove about a couple of teams that could be in the market of potentially trading for a third baseman, such as the San Francisco Giants, who just lost the Kung Fu Panda, aka Pablo Sandoval. The San Francisco Giants are a team that's really much in need of a third baseman, including with the market that is currently out there right now. It's really dwindling on, every day, accurate, consistent third basemen. But then again, you got Josh Donaldson and Brett Lawrie at the top. But you know what? What's very interesting about this deal is that Brett Lawrie going over to Oakland has the ability to play the entire infield. There was a lot of rumors that there could potentially end up being a move for Brett Lawrie, in 2014 or 2015, I apologize. There could be a potential move for Brett Lawrie to get, possibly, shift over to second base for 2015. As that was a rumor. If Hanley Ramirez was to sign with the Blue Jays, as they did have interest in Hanley Ramirez. If Hanley Ramirez was to go to Toronto, they would obviously shift Brett Lawrie over to maybe even second base and keep the shortstop over with Jose Reyes, but Brett Lawrie could legitimately end up going over second base and have one of the best infields in the American League, if not the best. So, needless to say, that did not happen, obviously, with this whole trade that went down. But if we really look into this deal, who won the most? If you want to talk about the prospects, obviously Oakland won because, the Toronto Blue Jays only got, Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson, over the past 2 years, has been a very consistent second base. He did have a drop-off in his batting average. Last year he batted .301. In 2013 he batted .301, which I consider his legitimate breakout year. He just went full swing. In 2013 it was probably the best year of his entire career. He played 158 games in the past 2 years apiece. He had I think 2014 really brought out his power, as in 2013 he had 24 home runs. 2014 he had 29 home runs. The averages or his RBIs went up by 4 or by a few in 2014 with 98, and then in 2013 he only had 93. So a significant change in his power. He's a very consistent third baseman. His defense is at high quality, but his average just fell off in 2014 batted .255 as last year, or in 2013. I don't know why I keep on saying 2013 as last year, because the year is coming to an end. I like to get an early start on the new year, but we can't. But like I said, in 2013, aka known as last year, he batted .301, which was that very acknowledging year for him. He's always had a very consistent year with the Oakland Athletics in his first full season with the team. So it's very much of it's a much pleasure to get him over in Toronto, a team that's just right on the cusp of making that deep playoff push. It's always like the teams like Baltimore that's always putting them aside. With the addition of Donaldson, you have Donaldson over at third base, Jose Reyes at shortstop. If he's able to stay healthy and play legitimate in the entire year, if he can stay consistent, he can be one of the best and be a big difference maker along with Josh Donaldson. Second base, it's still up in the air. I like Maicias Turris, but Goins is another great option, another rising star on this team. And then you got the almost great Edwin Encarnacion. He is a power bat. He can launch that ball out into the stands, and you know what you're expecting from him. This Toronto Blue Jays team this offseason has just been winners. They just got Russell Martin. Deoner Navarro is going to be moving over to DH. Justin Smoak, Jose Bautista out in right field. Kevin Pillar, he's going to be out there in left field. Pompey out in center field. This team is very young, but like I said in my video about the Toronto Blue Jays just about a week or so ago, this team is just, like I said, right on the cusp of making a deep playoff push. They have the hitting, they have the hitting behind them. They just got to work on their bullpen, add a couple of pieces in. They got that with Marco Estrada, but he can only do so much. Brett Cecil goes from being in the rotation to being in the bullpen. That needs to be being changed around. They need to add at least a couple of legit arms at some point within the next couple of years to really be a legitimate threat in the American League. But I like what the Blue Jays are currently going on, what's going on out there in Toronto right now. But when we shift over to the Oakland Athletics, this team is still on the rise. This team also made a lot of moves, signing Billy Butler, who's going to be their primary designated hitter. This team has a much better pitching staff than what Toronto has right now, with Jeff Samardzija, Sonny Gray, Scott Kazmir, Gerard Parker, A.J. Griffin. You also got to look at what they have over around the diamond. You got Brandon Moss, like I said. They got Billy Butler. Third base is obviously going to be inked in with Brett Lawrie, and another excellent defensive third baseman. Nick Punto is getting some more time to shine out there at shortstop. Eric Sogard, the king of the nerds. I think that was one of the biggest hashtags going along for the face of the MLB just, I think, last year. You also got Reddick out there in right, Crisp in center, and then Stephen Vogt out there, or Vogt over in left field. So this team is very, very solid, very young. This team always finds a way to win. I really do enjoy watching Oakland baseball. I would rather take their pitching staff over what they have in Toronto. Toronto has the hitting. Oakland has the pitching, but you know what? At the end of the day, the third base deal, I would like to say Oakland won via the prospects, but you know what? Full production, I would have to go with Toronto being the biggest winner out of this deal. I think that the addition of Josh Donaldson to an already stacked roster out there in Toronto is just going to edge out the Oakland Athletics. It would not surprise me if we see Oakland and possibly Toronto in the playoffs and potentially meet each other, because both of these teams are stacked. They have the roster to make a deep playoff push, and it's going to be very exciting because 2015 is going to be a very excellent baseball season with a lot of new faces around Major League Baseball, including Josh Donaldson, Brett Lawrie. So it's a very exciting time to watch baseball, and make sure you guys keep up with the offseason, because like I said, I'm going to bring you guys just about every single Major League signing, minor league signing, whatever the case may be. If it really interests me to make a video, you guys will be getting it here on my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Get me to 200 subscribers. We're just right on the cusp as well. So make sure you guys, I'm almost on the cusp of getting 200 subscribers, but you guys know what I mean. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and I'll catch you guys next time.